everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jayson.
And we are father
and son.
Today we're going to do part 2 of our top 10 favorite video games of all time. We were really long-winded last time, spent a good long time on each game we were talking about, so probably not that surprisingly, this ended up turning into 2 videos. Hopefully only 2. We're going to do the second half. I think we might be even a little bit further in than half, but we'll do the rest of our favorite video games, and then we'll do some runners-up as well. Do you have any idea, Jayson, whose turn it is to guess at the others list?
So I think we did more me than you.
Okay.
Because we did...
So you should guess at me?
Yeah,
Then? Is that what you're saying? No, that's...
But I don't know...
That's fine.
Wait, did we do Sonic 2?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Like, we didn't talk about that, like, at all?
No, was that a guess of yours?
Yes.
You wanted to guess at me?
Yeah.
On Sonic 2? Okay, yeah, let's just start there, and then we'll figure out... let's figure out where our scores are first. So, I guessed at... Let me, let's see, which ones have you talked about? So you did Adventure, which I got right.
Right.
And you did Crazy Taxi, which doesn't count because I wasn't guessing at that, but you were right. I wasn't guessing that would be on yours.
Right.
But
that was on your list.
But that was on my list, yeah. So that doesn't count. But I guessed 1, and then
I did
Mortal
Dr.
Kombat.
Mario.
I guessed Dr. Mario. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, you guessed Mortal Kombat, and
Mario Kombat.
You guessed Mario 64, and that was my number 1 on the list.
Right. Okay. So I'm 3 for like 5 or 6
yeah.
then.
And I do have Virtua Fighter 2 on my list. So that basically, would that count? Would that be like?
I didn't put it on my list though.
Okay.
Yeah, it only counts if I guessed at it in the first place.
Okay.
Of course, yeah. So I got 3 so far. And how many of mine have you guessed?
I have guessed...
You guessed Galaga.
Yep, I guessed Galaga. I guessed Virtua Fighter 2, Knights, Wave Race.
No, Wave Race wasn't there.
Yeah, but I did guess it.
I'm saying of the ones you got correct, which ones? I'm trying to figure out what your score is. Yeah.
I think that's all.
Okay, so we each got 3. Wow.
Okay.
I figured you'd be farther ahead by now, but you will probably pull ahead. Okay, let's get into it. Go ahead, Jayson. So you want to start with Sonic 2?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Sonic 2 is on my list.
Cool.
To no one's surprise. Is it on yours?
Yes.
Is it really? I did not even think to put that there.
It is on. It is number 7 on my list.
I guess I kind of erred on the side of there not being any crossover. I wasn't even thinking about things that I might have said that you would also say. I kind of assumed that our list would look very different.
Yeah.
But they look a lot closer.
Yeah.
We always say that you're like a 10-year-old version of me, so I really should have had more crossover on my list. Darn it. Let's talk about Sonic 2, man. Why Sonic 2 over any of the other 2D Sega Genesis Sonic titles?
Well, I mean, I guess Sonic 1 is kind of easier. I like the Sonic spin. I really like playing as Knuckles. Knuckles is my favorite character ever.
But you don't get to play as Knuckles until Sonic and Knuckles.
Well, I like playing as Knuckles in the Lock-On competition.
Okay, sure.
And then Tails follows you.
Yeah.
And does nothing. Except kills you, probably.
Yeah, it's not the best AI, but it's kind of fun that you can have a second player play as Tails.
Yeah.
And there is an option to take Tails off, which a lot of us growing up did not figure out. Because when you look at the menu, and this is on the original cartridge, if memory serves, if you go to the menu, it is really cryptic about it, or it's kind of hidden, I should say. If you keep scrolling down, there is an options menu, but it doesn't show you that in the first place. You have to scroll down past the bottom option, and then it gives you an options screen. And in there, you can take Tails off, which helps a lot in the bonus areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that AI is bad enough that Tails will keep killing you and keep hitting the bombs and make you lose rings in the 3D bonus areas.
Oh.
Like, you got mad skills if you can get through those with Tails and get all the way to all 8 Chaos Emeralds, which I've never done.
Wow.
But I can get a lot closer. I can either do that or get a lot closer if I'm playing just with Sonic.
Yeah, what happened?
But more specifically, what else do you like? Do you think puts Sonic 2 over the top? Like
The levels.
I was gonna say, for me, it's levels of music.
It's levels of music. My favorite level, and Sonic music, is the
Chemical Plant Zone.
Mm-mm.
Oh, see, that's my favorite.
I hate that level.
Okay, but that's my favorite music in the game.
Yeah. My favorite is Metropolis Zone.
Yeah. I
That's
forgot you're a big fan of that.
And I like just playing that level because I'm able to do it with level select. There's a hidden level select.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like enter a code in the thing where you play music. You have to do a specific order of songs you play.
Oh, weird.
And yeah.
That gave us that, again, great 3D bonus level, which was really innovative and pushing envelopes at the time. That it kind of surprised everybody, made everybody gasp. It's really cool looking. Pardon me, but it's also really fun to play, and was a step up from the bonus level from the first game. A lot of my favorite Sonic stuff is in Sonic 1. As you know, I adore Marble Zone. It's my favorite, but I think the Sonic 2 was just a huge improvement overall in level design and gameplay, and again adding the spin dash, and yeah, I don't know, it's one of the great soundtracks.
Yeah.
And that's most people's favorite Sonic game. I always waffle back and forth. I think I actually, because I made my list, like I said before, mostly, or actually entirely based on the stuff that I go back to most often. Sonic 1 and 2, I actually couldn't tell you which one I play more often. Like it may be Sonic 1, but I think it's Sonic 2. I don't know, it's just, they're almost right on par for me. So I had to say one game, so I said Sonic 2. And I don't know how you are about this. I'm somewhat of a purist when it comes to Sonic 1. As much as, obviously, I really, enjoy having the spin dash and, being able to have that kind of control to, like, shoot up a hill, and that kind of thing without having to, like, go backwards and get momentum. You know what I mean? You don't have to back off the DeLorean so you can get to 88. You can just rev it up and shoot off. I don't like to use it in Sonic 1. Like, with newer versions that will add it back in, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to play it that way?
Yeah.
Like, the game's not designed for it.
No, it's not.
So there are places where it gets really clunky if you try to use the spin dash.
Yeah. And, on the mobile version of Sonic 1, you can actually play as Knuckles. And
oh, interesting. It's not designed for that either.
Yeah, and you can play as Knuckles and Tails. And
does Knuckles make it easier or harder? Like, is it like the spin dash where it gets clunky because it's just not designed for that?
Yeah, a little bit. But I haven't played it a lot. But what I like to do is add the spin dash when I'm playing as Knuckles so that it's full-on Sonic 2 Knuckles. Because it's that artwork.
Yeah.
So I want it to be everything from Sonic 2
I see.
Knuckles. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they'd done that. I don't like to play mobile versions of 16-bit games because I want a controller.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
How
far can you get just using a touchscreen?
I mean, it's kind of the same for me. I use touchscreen for a lot of things. Like,
well, you play Geometry Dash and stuff.
Geometry Dash and, like, Roblox and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't really use a controller a lot when I play my tablet.
Okay, how far, well, of course, how far do you get, well, I mean, we don't have a controller that hooks up to your tablet, so you don't do that at all, but how far do you get, like playing it the traditional way then?
Usually as far as I usually get.
But that's what I'm asking is how far is that? Is it like 3 or 4 levels in? Or
Plant Act 2.
Oh, you can't even get past Chemical Plant usually?
No, because it's so hard.
And you just level selects to play other levels.
Yeah.
Real quick, what do you think is the hardest of those? Having obviously not ever played any of the games all the way through, if you can't get past Chemical Plant we'll work on that. Without level select codes.
I think the hardest is probably Sonic and Knuckles.
You think?
Probably, yeah.
So you're going to be surprised when I say this. For me, the hardest to complete, especially in one sitting, is actually Sonic 2. I did a stream this last year on Sonic and 3 and Knuckles, played both of them together as one game, which is the way to play it, because it was intended to be that way in the first place. And it's a wonderful experience. I finally got to do it, and played all the way through it. And I beat it, and Sonic 2, it's a toss-up. Sometimes I get past that last boss, and sometimes I don't. And I thought the final boss with Sonic and Knuckles was actually quite a bit easier. So yeah, like I can beat Sonic 2, I just don't always manage it. Sometimes I won't have enough continues left, and I'll die on that boss too much, and then I'll lose and have to start over. Yeah. But anyway, well, shall we move on?
Yeah.
So what crossovers have we had so far? We both said Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic 2. We both said Crazy Taxi,
and we both said Virtua Fighter
and you
2.
also had Virtua Fighter 2 on yours, which I don't know if we actually revealed on the last video, but you just mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
Maybe we talked, but I forget. It's been a week for us as well. Okay, so Jason, I'm gonna guess one at you, and obviously my guesses have been awful.
Yeah.
Have I guessed a Mario Kart?
No.
I'm guessing Mario Kart 8.
That is a runner-up for me.
It's a runner-up. Do you have a Mario Kart on your list?
Yes.
But it's not 8.
It's not.
Okay,
8.
so this won't count as a guess because I just made a guess and I was wrong. But let me see if I can figure out which one it would be then. Is it 64?
Yes.
So you put Mario 64 over 8? That surprises me.
Mario Kart 64 is my favorite Mario Kart.
Is it?
Yeah. It's pretty nostalgic. Because I played it a lot when I was little. And I played a lot of 64 when I was
He's
little.
10. He's got nostalgia.
Yeah. And 64 has always been my favorite console. Toad is the best in like every single Mario Kart ever, and
wow, I don't agree with that at all.
It's really fun. Battle mode turns you into a bomb like it never does in later things, which is like I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Where they don't turn you into a bomb in battle mode.
Oh, I don't like the bomb thing.
I like the bomb thing.
Just
where
so
you
you
don't
can...
get to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. See, I don't know. I would always just kind of put the controller down. Like, I've lost. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay, I can drive around and blow up the other cars and affect things. But I feel like a ghost. You know, it's sort of like you die and then if in real life ghosts were real, you die and you're a ghost and you can go around haunting people, but you can't actually really contribute in any meaningful way.
Yeah, and if you blow up, you're just dead again.
And then you're dead again. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's fine.
I don't like losing all your balloons and then you just start all over again with 3 balloons.
But let's talk more about the main game, shall we? So, what are your favorite courses in that game?
So my favorite course is Royal Raceway. There's like a huge jump, and there's a secret where you can go to Peach's Castle.
The couple of secrets in that game are really good. Are really cool, yeah.
But it looks super cool. It's like you're playing Mario Kart or Super Mario 64, but you unlocked a cart and you're driving around in Peach's Castle.
I forgot that was in there. Yeah,
but you can't go inside Peach's Castle. I don't like that. You can only go drive around and stuff.
I know a lot of people, again, super nostalgic for Mario 64, see that still as the best one, or the one that they most want to go back to, apart from the really modern ones. I like it fine, and I played a ton of it too as well, but I feel like we very quickly improved on it so much, it's hard for me to rank it as high. Like, the leap between Mario 64 and Double Dash is crazy.
Yeah.
Things I don't care about 64, and that's not on my list. It would be on your mom's, I'm sure. I don't like how long the courses are. Like, the laps are just too lengthy in that game. And you'll notice, whenever we do retro versions of them, we always shorten them.
Yeah,
some of those straightaways are just insanely long.
Yeah, Rainbow Road turned from one of the longest courses ever to one of the shortest courses ever.
Really?
In Mario Kart 8.
See, I think I like the aesthetic of that game more than I like the way it plays, at least compared to some of the ones directly after it.
Yeah. Oh, also another thing.
Like I love that Rainbow Road.
Yeah, that Rainbow Road
It's too
is, like-
easy. They overcompensated after the first Mario Kart. Where it was like, oh god, Rainbow Road is so hard. Let's make it a lot easier. And after that, we went back to Rainbow Road is supposed to be the hardest course in the game, and I kind of prefer that. But I like the aesthetic of that Rainbow Road a lot, and it is the soundtrack is like neck and neck as good as the original Mario Kart soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which is still probably my favorite, but I think they both have equally good soundtracks. But I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Another thing that I like about Mario Kart 64 is rubber banding. So that's like a thing where you can't get too ahead of people, and you can't get too behind of people, of like CPUs and also normal people, I think.
I think you just got sick of me lapping you in Mario Kart and SNES.
Yeah. Wait, I think it's
You can lap people in 64 though.
but I think it's only CPUs.
No, see, okay, there you go.
For rubber banding, but
Well, actually, I guess it would be impossible. What am I talking about? It would be impossible in multiplayer to have rubber banding,
right.
wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah. But you can get lapped in the original by the CPUs. Yeah, that's true.
And
I never thought about that.
they also put I think they took out the rubber banding after Mario Kart 64, but they brought it back in the arcade versions.
Did they?
Yeah.
And they have it for obvious reasons in Mario Kart Live too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, have you noticed that? Like, you can play really, really crappy and you'll never get lapped by the Koopa Kids.
Oh, I've gotten lapped like twice.
Have you really?
Uh-huh.
I was pretty sure you couldn't get lapped, but even if you can, they tend to slow down if you get too far behind.
Yeah.
That would be rubber banding. But yeah. Anything else about Mario Kart 64 we should talk about? I mean, that was a really big deal back in the day when it came out. I mean, that was one of the huge system sellers, and was the thing that really cemented Mario Kart as a franchise, because it wasn't a done deal, after Super Nintendo that you would assume that we would just have one on every console like we do now. Like now, that's like a big mega franchise, and back in the day, it was there was this really fun kart racer that was more popular than they expected it to be. And then when you saw the previews and like the first inkling I got of Mario Kart 64 was in a magazine, and when I saw those graphics, I was like, "Oh my god! Like, we live in the future now." I mentioned how crazy the jump was between 64 and GameCube, but the jump between Super Nintendo and 64 was also massive.
Yeah. And originally, and I know like a lot about Mario Kart 64, about like it's like what it was about to be, like what it was originally gonna be, like the beta and stuff.
Yeah.
There was always going to be Wario. I remember that. And then, Donkey Kong was not going to be there.
Yeah.
Instead, it was going to be replaced by Kamek.
I'm sorry, by Hammock?
No, by Kamek.
Oh. So who's Hammock?
No, he's not a mechanic. He's Hammock. I mean, Kamek.
You mean Hammock the mechanic?
No, he's Kamek. He's a Magic Koopa.
Why were they gonna put? Oh, I guess because they had a Koopa Troopa, maybe, in the first game.
Yeah,
because there is surprisingly no Koopa Troopa in 64, which is one of the things I don't like about it, because that was always my go-to character in Super Nintendo, and then they started bringing him back again.
Mm-hmm. My go-to character in the whole franchise, and if he's not there, then I play as Toad, is Dry Bones. Dry Bones is my character.
These days I've been doing heavies more often, because I'm finding it's easier to win if you're playing well.
Yeah.
I played in a couple tournaments, and people would like laugh at me because I was playing mid-range characters, and like everybody was playing as heavies, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try, because I was never winning, and so I got some pointers from some of the guys that were doing better, and I still never won, in a tournament, but I got some pointers, so I started playing as Dry Bowser, but I still like to go back to Dry Bones and Koopa Troopa.
Yeah. I my go-to character used to be Donkey Kong, and he's just way too heavy.
Yeah.
I think. Like, have you played as Wario? He's like the lightest heavy ever.
It's
and
been a
he's
long time,
amazing.
and that's your mom's favorite.
Yeah.
And that's the only person she'll ever play as.
He's good in Mario Kart 7. I can't play as him in anything else. Like, it's so weird.
Well, Jason, why don't you guess at one of mine, sir?
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah?
And if this isn't here, like, how? Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors is on my list. Yes, of course.
So this is a weird game.
Yeah, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
So Zombies Ate My Neighbors, if you've not played it, is a Konami game that was on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. That was kind of a weird off-the-beaten-path thing that's developed like a massive cult following since then. I think there's a big fan base for Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and people have wanted some kind of a sequel forever and ever. And there was a weird like spiritual successor that I never played that isn't exactly Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but is sort of like it. I can't remember what that's called now, but we've never had like a true Zombies Ate My Neighbors sequel, and it's odd and really interesting and creative in a bunch of different ways. So you're on a kind of isometric view, and your top-down view, I should say, and you go around and kill zombies and other monsters as the levels progress, and you try to save all your neighbors. And if you don't save them, then a zombie can come up and kill them, and it's kind of an arcade-type style game where it's about points. Or it's supposed to be anyway, like nobody actually plays for points, but if this was an arcade game, you'd have top scores, right? And it is with this too, but you're trying to get the highest score in trying to save all the neighbors, and they're all like silly people, like there's babies and there's dogs and there's like people like frying meat on like on an outdoor grill or grilling meat on a grill.
There's guys who's in the pool.
And there's a guy in a pool, and if you can't save them, the zombies kill them.
And there's an old grandma.
And so you want to try to, obviously get through as many levels as you can and try to save as many of the neighbors as you can. And if you don't save any of them, you just progress to the next level. Like you can let all of them die, and you just won't have actually saved any neighbors, and you'll progress, because the idea is just something has to happen to each of the neighbors before you're able to progress. It has a crazy number of levels. It's like 50 or 60, and I've never been all the way through it. Because it gets really mazy and it gets really, really hard. If I sit down and play, one sitting without passwords, I can usually get up through 7 or 8, and I'm just not used to the levels after that as much, so I die on them pretty quickly if I'm just playing with the normal number of lives. But you do have a password system, and I've never been patient enough to just sit down and try to play all the way through it. It's funny, it's on my top 10. I've never actually beaten it. But one of these days I'm going to sit down and actually do that. I still say that game should have been in the arcade and should have had a cabinet, and I think it would probably play... Actually, I say this, I've done it once. I think that game plays better with a joystick. Because of the type of game it is, that it's on, kind of like a lot of RPGs of the time, kind of like an Earthbound. It's on that sort of a grid, and you kind of wish that you could just, move around with a joystick. And I went to a convention a couple years ago where somebody had made a custom Zombies Ate My Neighbors arcade machine that was super cool looking, and I got to play it, and that was a trip. And so forevermore, I've kind of wished that I could play it, arcade style.
Yeah.
But that game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool power-ups. It's got a little bit of a puzzle element where you have to get keys, and sometimes in order to progress, you have to you have to find enough keys to open a certain number of doors to move on, and it can be easy to get stuck if you don't find everything and you don't know what you're doing. And depending on what system you're playing it on, it can be kind of irritating trying to toggle between your different items and weapons, because you have multiple weapons. and there are sometimes you just absolutely need something beyond just your water, your squirt gun that shoots zombies. There's like a bazooka that you need in the hedge mage level in order to get past the hedges, because you have to make holes in the walls and get past them and stuff. It's better to play on Super Nintendo unless you have a 6-button Genesis controller, and I think you can map that controller. If you can't, then you really don't want to play it on Genesis. I'm not sure, but
is that where you played it?
I think initially I played it on Genesis, and I bought it again on Genesis just because that was what I grew up with. But I have played it on Super Nintendo, and it's got more buttons, and you can map, you can allocate more buttons for different things. So if you're playing on a 3-button Genesis controller, there's one button that you have to press in order to switch over what kind of thing you're moving to, and it gets really awkward. So you have to if memory serves, it's you hold it down and then you move your D-pad to select the thing at the top that picks whether you're grabbing an item or a weapon, and it's obnoxious. And what you want is just, I'm switching items, I'm switching weapons, and if you have a Super Nintendo controller, you can do that.
Yeah. So Genesis 3-button controller is super weird, and I've tried to play Mortal Kombat on the Genesis, and I looked at the controls on the paper, and the controls are different in the actual game.
What do you mean?
The controls.
What do you mean the actual game?
In the game, the controls are different than what they say on
the weird
booklet.
Really?
Yeah.
So the booklet's just wrong?
Yeah, the booklet is wrong.
That is strange. So how do they have that set up to where you have access to all your moves?
You don't.
Okay.
Sometimes you do a high kick. Most of the time you do a low kick. I don't know,
Because I forget, and it's funny because we have it sitting right over here, but was Mortal Kombat a 4-button or a 6-button fighter?
That was a... Oh, well...
Is it a 6-button fighter?
That is a 5-button fighter.
Oh, that's weird.
Because there's...
Because of the block button?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it becomes a 6-button fighter with run in Mortal Kombat 3. But
right, but that's still not a true 6-button fighter. What I mean is, do you have 3 punches and 3 kicks, or do you have 2 punches and 2
two
kicks?
punches and 2
Okay, so it's essentially a 4-button fighter.
It is a 4-button fighter.
With a run button.
With a run button
Yeah.
and a block button.
Yeah, that wouldn't count as a 6-button fighter.
Oh.
I wouldn't think. Anyway, okay, so am I guessing at you?
Yeah.
Good job on that, by the way. And that was, of course, not on your list, right?
No.
Jayson.
Of course.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out because you play it all the time, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I kind of, the more we're talking, doubt it's actually on your list, but I maybe did not do the best job at guessing here, so I'm stuck with what I wrote down in the first place. Did you say Geometry Dash? Is it on your list?
No.
Okay. You play it all the time. I thought maybe it was there.
I don't know,
Or did you just not go for phone things?
I didn't really go.
Or
I mean,
tablet things.
It is a computer game too. It's on Steam, but I don't know. I didn't really count that.
Okay.
Yeah, I play it daily, but and it's a really good game, but it's not even runner job, so.
Why don't you then tell us one that is on your list?
Yeah, I
and
have
one that
2 left.
You have 2 left. Well, say the one that you think I'm least likely to have written down.
Okay.
Or do you think I probably got them both?
I think you got neither of them.
with the track record I've had so far, yeah, I got a few. Go ahead.
Smash Ultimate.
I wasn't sure if that would be there or not, so I didn't write it down. But I didn't think you'd say that because I feel like you're like me, where theoretically you like to play Smash, but then you'd sit down and play it, and you're like, oh wait, I'm not any good at this. Well, that's how I am anyway. I mean, have you gotten better at Smash?
I'm okay.
I'm not trying to
with
throw you under the bus, kid, but I feel like you and I both get real frustrated when we play people at Smash, where it's like,
I mean, yeah, but
guess this game's not for me.
Yeah, but it's still fun to play it, even though I'm really bad at it.
Did you name some things based on stuff that you that you enjoy like looking up and studying as much or more than based on actually playing them.
Yeah.
And if you guys will notice, that's the direction that a lot of this conversation has gone. Where Jayson doesn't want to talk about the gameplay and the aesthetic and how much joy he gets out of playing a game so much as he wants to tell you about the background and all the special codes he found out about.
Yeah. I'm more a researcher of video games than an actual gamer.
Yeah. We'll talk about Smash, and you said specifically Smash Ultimate.
Smash Ultimate, yeah. So.
And let me say this real quick. Sometimes things, games, comics, what have you, get that Ultimate title, and I feel like most of them are undeserved, and Smash is one of the few examples that is absolutely deserved, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is the ultimate version of that game. It's every character that's ever been in that game, plus they keep adding stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like they should just keep supporting that game until the end of time and not ever make another Smash game.
That's what they're gonna do.
Is it really?
I mean,
You'd have to
gonna
port it over when they eventually make a new console, but
yeah.
they're trying to expand Switch's lifespan right now
Well,
as far as they can, stretch it.
So for Smash, they're probably not gonna port Ultimate over, because.
So that would mean they'd make a new game again, right?
No, they stopped making Smash games every single time they made a new one, and then they made a new one.
Right.
And then they actually
I don't know what that means. What do you mean they stopped making them until they made a new one?
So after Smash Brothers, they weren't gonna make a sequel, and then
you're saying
Melee came out, and then they weren't gonna make a sequel.
You're saying they've always claimed it's discontinued?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what you meant by that. I'm like, well, yeah, that's how making things works, Jayson.
Yeah.
You quit making a thing and then you make a new one. I didn't know what that meant.
The creator didn't
It's called development.
didn't want to keep making sequels, and then he just kept making sequels.
Interesting.
And yeah.
So you don't think that'll happen this time?
Yeah. It's been a while, but
it's just such a giant franchise. I mean, Smash is the fighting game for people who don't play fighting games, and it's also for some people who do play fighting games, certainly. But I mean, there's a lot of people that's their fighter. That's all they like.
That's Mom, basically.
What do you mean? She hates Smash.
That's like the one fighter she'll play besides Soul Calibur.
I've never gotten her to play Smash.
Really?
Yeah, she always tells me she doesn't understand the appeal of that. Yeah. Have you had her play Smash?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay. She won't play it with me.
No, her favorite character is Charizard.
What?
And she
She has opinions about Smash?
Yeah.
Okay, she and I are gonna have a heart to heart today when she gets home. Anyway, so
I mean, she doesn't play it a lot.
Tell us, but you're right. She does really like Soul Calibur. Tell us some things about Smash and Ultimate and why you like that game so much.
Well, first off, it has every single character in Smash. And I was super excited that they brought a lot of people back. I was just like, you actually were able to, because for the Wii U, they weren't able to put Ice Climbers on because the Wii U and the 3DS couldn't, stand, they couldn't
handle the Ice Climbers
Yeah.
for some reason, but why?
I don't know. Apparently it didn't work. But for Smash, they put every single character in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they were able to even do that. And they're adding more characters.
Duck Hunt.
And there's a lot of new characters. K. Rool, Ridley.
K. Rool's my favorite new character, I think.
And Castlevania has some characters.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did they put Simon Belmont in it?
Yeah. Simon
wow.
and Richter. Both of them are in it, and
is that new DLC, or was one of them there in the first place? Was Simon there in the first place?
Both of them were there in the first place.
I don't even remember. I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like you said, it's a huge roster, of course.
And then Incineroar, I was super excited for, because it's my favorite Pokemon, and then I played as him, and I was really bad with him. So I did not play.
Who's your best fighter?
My best fighter is Kirby. Kirby is the best.
Mine is Pac-Man.
Pac-Man's pretty good too. And Rob, and Dr. Mario, and...
There is a whole culture with Smash that I just don't understand. Like, I've never been good enough at that game to play with people who know what they're doing, and I always do things that people complain about that I feel like is kind of arbitrary. They'll be like, "You can't be Sonic." I'm like, "Well, he's in the roster. Why can't I be Sonic?" They're like, that's not fair. That's cheap. You can't be Sonic. I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing makes it difficult. I don't mean to be negative. That kind of thing makes it hard for me to want to play that game with people.
Yeah, that's like...
Everybody's got these weird sets of rules I never knew about. Like,
yeah. Let me think.
I like the diversity of the stage select.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there's a lot of, obviously really cool stages, and it does the same thing that Mario Karts do, where it's got, obviously a lot of retro ones, but it's got some new ones as well. Does it? Now, it doesn't do the same thing it did with characters, where it goes back and gives you every stage there ever was, too, does it? Now, I wish it did that.
Yeah. That would be too much to fit on the screen, though.
What do you mean? Oh, just to see it?
Yeah.
Well, you could have several pages of them.
Yeah.
Where instead of trying to put, really super tiny boxes where you can't tell what it's supposed to be, you just have, page 1 of 5. And just...
I mean,
why can't we do that?
They did do that in Wii U, so, yeah.
Well, then there you go. Yeah. But yeah, what else do you want to say about that?
I was going to say something, and I forgot. Oh, yeah, I really like the trailers, for, like, all the characters and stuff that they did.
Yeah.
I really like how, like, they're just like, get ready. There's going to be a new character.
Yeah, it was a really good advertising campaign.
Yeah.
Got everybody hyped for it. And that would have been, because Smash is always a system seller, that would have been a big deal anyway. But they absolutely marketed that right. You're totally right.
And then they finally put Minecraft characters as DLC in Smash. And everyone was just like, finally. And when they saw, like, everyone who reacted to that trailer went crazy.
Really?
And then they were like, zombie? You can play as a zombie. Enderman? What? They're just like, what?
I think some of that's getting out of hand. Where it's like, do we need, like, every popular kids franchise to somehow be represented? Like, I'm waiting for some Fortnite character to show up.
That stupid teddy bear, probably. That's like the only thing I know about Fortnite is there's a big giant pink teddy bear. That's all I know about it. And it's a shooting game that has dance moves in it for no reason.
Or like suddenly that guy from like Five Nights at Freddy's shows up or something. Like, all right,
that would not happen.
Jayson, I have 2 left on my list.
And I have 1.
Or do I have 2? No, I have 3 left on my list.
Oh.
And you only have 1 left? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got off I think we got off somewhere because of the way we were guessing. That makes sense. You nailed me more often. Okay, why don't you go ahead and guess at one of mine? Maybe guess at 2 of mine so that we can get down to even Steven here.
Okay. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Ooh, that's a really good guess. That did not make my list. Was it a runner-up? It was a runner-up. Mm-hmm. That did not make my list, but it got close. I was trying to be a little bit more, again, diverse on game types. So I tried not to put too many fighters in, because it would have been really easy to stack up fighters. So I put in Virtua Fighter 2, and I think that's the only fighter that I put in.
Mm.
So I guess I have to name one now. Well, you have... Okay, I'm pretty sure that it became clear last time that there was one that you didn't write down, but that you should have, because you were like, There was a place last video where I could see it in your eyes. You're like, oh, I know one that you picked, and I didn't write it down. And I'm pretty sure that game was House of the Dead 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
So curiously, I'm not a horror guy, I'm not a zombie guy, but 2 of my top 10 video games of all time are zombie games. It's just gameplay. It's stuff I like playing. I love rail shooters, and I wish that there were more good home ports of rail shooters. It's one of the reasons that I love the Wii. It had a lot of really good rail shooters, and it should have had more. It was the perfect system for that because of the motion control. You didn't even need a gun. You could take a Wii remote and shoot it at your screen and, mow down the zombies or whatever it was. And there was a really good Resident Evil rail shooter that was on that system that I played, and I have bought recently. I think... Was it Code Veronica, or was it the other one? One of those is a more traditional Resident Evil game, and one of them is a rail shooter. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. It's chilling. It's actually pretty scary. House of the Dead 2 is not. House of the Dead 2 is one of the notoriously worst scripts and voice acted things ever, and that's one of the reasons to play it, because it's basically like playing a really bad B-movie that's in the so bad it's good category. If you've never seen it, and we didn't quite get all the way to the end, but if you've never played it and you've never listened to the horrendous voice acting, go check out the video that I did with my buddy Tim Lyons, rest in peace, passed away a few years ago, sadly, that we did... I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago now, and anyway, he and I did a playthrough of that, and it was a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite videos on the channel. Go check that out if you've not looked at it. But it is so much fun to make fun of, but it's also really fun to play. And for the time, it was really impressive graphically. I played it on the Dreamcast. I also played it at some of the arcade, and House of the Dead 2 was one of those odd games where most people played 2 and didn't even know what 1 looked like. It was years before I found the original at an arcade. So oddly, you've got a game called House of the Dead that doesn't take place in a house. Like, House of the Dead 2 is in a city, and you go in and out of a lot of places, and a couple of them are houses, but most of it is, like, facilities and arenas and stuff, and just city streets. The original game was indeed a House of the Dead, and there are 4 House of the Deads plus that crazy, really super raunchy one that was on the Wii, and it's fun to play. But I will warn you, it's gross and again really really raunchy. So if that kind of thing doesn't bother you, if you don't mind language and stuff, by all means play that. It's fun, but it's pretty disgusting. Anyway. But none of them take place in a single house after that first game.
And there's a lot of, there's a few spin-offs, too.
Of House of the Dead? Mm-hmm. Like what?
Pinball of the Dead.
Oh, well, yes, if you're talking about those, yes.
Yeah.
And there's... And Typing of the Dead.
Yes, Typing of the Dead.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in the late 90s, early 2000s with crazy House of the Dead spin-offs in other genres. And they just never took themselves too seriously, and they always had a lot of fun with it. And it was always still true to... that really goofy, tongue-in-cheek spirit of the original House of the Dead 2, specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still go back to that game quite a bit. It's one of my wife's and my favorite things to play. As you can tell, I'm a big arcade guy. I'm a big, port of arcade stuff playing at home guy. I spent some time in arcades when I was a kid, but not nearly as much as playing stuff at home, but I was always more into arcade-style things than anything else, and so my list obviously massively reflects that. Mm-hmm. Okay, did you want to guess at my last one?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or I guess I've got 2 more, but you had just 2 guesses left, right? Let me see here. So I've got... Yeah, this is an odd way to do this. Yeah, I've still got 2 more left on my list.
Oh my gosh. This is not going to be on your list, is it?
I don't know, man.
Uniracers?
Uniracers is a runner-up.
Oh!
I love Uniracers, absolutely. That was a 2D side-scrolling racer that on the Super Nintendo, and only the Super Nintendo, that didn't get sequels and nobody's ever been able to remake or put back out again because it was sued by Pixar because the visuals they thought were like ripped off from things that Pixar had done, like the lamp and other things, and I think they won that lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that was fair or not. I haven't looked real deep into it. I have always suspected that was kind of off, but I think they won on that. Anyway, but yeah, Uniracers is a ton of fun and has a really cool, rockin' soundtrack, and it was unlike anything else that came out at that time. I've done some gameplay for that. I think there's a video of Uniracers on the channel if you want to go find that and see what we're talking about.
I think that was with you and me.
Oh, did you and I do that?
I think I was on that.
Okay, so I guess I should reveal one more before we both give our, not necessarily our top ones, because your top one has already come up, and I didn't actually rank mine. I just gave you 10. So I'm surprised you didn't call this, though. Arkham City is on my list.
Arkham City?
Yes, indeed.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, one of these things is not like the others. Like I said, most of my list is retro. But of more modern games, my favorite is absolutely hands down Arkham City. And I've talked ad nauseum about that on the channel, so I'm not going to get real into it again here. But I love the story in Arkham City. I think Paul Dini did a wonderful job. It is, in my mind, one of the greatest crossover events in Batman history that never happened. Or I should say just like big epic scale Batman event, not crossover. But it is the spiritual successor in my mind to Nightfall and No Man's Land. And those are my two favorite Batman things. And Arkham City is of that storytelling level and of that scale. And it's improved gameplay from the first game. The open world nature of it is wonderful. There's a whole lot of stuff to explore, and Arkham Knight is even more expansive in that way. But I still like Arkham City better because it has a great story, and Arkham Knight does not. But also, Arkham Knight has those really irritating Batmobile stages that some of which are okay, and there's some fun things about the Batmobile. Like, I like the racing sections, or the racetrack sections, I should say, but I don't like the military stages, and that gets really boring to me and tedious. And there's nothing like that in Arkham City. So just by default, if for a video game playing, I have to go to that. But also, I was so into that game when it came out. I started collecting it, and I never really got heavy into that. I was going to buy all the action figures and stuff, but it just got too expensive. But like I got really into that. I got really into the soundtrack. I listened to that all the time. I still bring that out quite a bit. The rock soundtrack that came with that, which was, I think, kind of masterful. And I got the collector's edition, and I was playing it day one, and it was just a real kind of special fall for me when that game came out. So yeah, well, I guess now we will reveal our last favorite video games of all time.
You're not gonna get my last one.
I'm not gonna get your last one, huh?
If you do, I don't know how,
The only other thing that was on I had two more things that I was guessing at, and I'm sure neither of these are there. I wrote down Pokemon Moon.
Pokemon Moon is not there. That used to be one of my top 5 or top 10.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really play it anymore. I got stuck at the end of the game.
Oh, really?
Almost the end of the game.
So you've seen most of it.
Yeah, I got stuck at the last island. And yeah. I haven't gotten to the part where and I do know about the ending. I do know that, the good guys are the bad guys, and it's weird, but,
Spoilers.
Yeah.
And then shooting in the dark, I also wrote down Injustice, but I was pretty sure I was wrong about that.
Yeah. Injustice is not on there.
Okay. What did you say?
Mario 1.
Wait, what? Okay, I'll go ahead and just reveal mine now then, since you said that. I did not say Mario 1, but I did say Mario World.
That was on mine.
Was it?
Yeah, that was... I guessed that. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do any more guessing. I guess I
I
should have.
didn't do any more guessing.
Sorry, I guess I should have given you the chance to do that. But
Yeah.
you did guess at Mario.
I
World.
did guess
Okay,
at
so
Mario
you
World.
clearly got more of mine than I got of yours, which is what we
Yes.
figured would happen. I did better than I thought I would, though.
Yeah.
So Mario won. Why over any? That blows my mind. But you have played that a lot,
Yeah.
and you can get to the end, right?
Not
Can
easily.
can you finish that castle?
I finished it like once before.
Wow. Okay. So you have beaten it once.
I have beaten it. I've beaten the whole game once. I went through all the levels.
Okay, you've got to explain this to me because I'm really surprised that you put that over Mario 3 or Mario World. Go ahead.
So, so the main reason that I like this game a lot is because it's really easy to speedrun. It's
Yeah.
like one of the, like most speedrunning like games.
Of course.
Or like Mario games. And I think that's even more speedrun than Mario 64. But anyway, there's like a bunch of levels, not that many, but it's pretty basic, and I like basic things.
I like basic things.
Yeah.
I almost put Pong on my list, but that would be lame.
No, not that basic. Also,
I
I've
was-
never played Pong, so.
Oh, well, that would be a reason not to put it there.
But yeah, it's really fun. You can go through pipes, and it's pretty cool. And there's warp zones. And
Yep.
it's not that hard like Lost levels, where there's literally, you don't know how, like in Lost
You're
levels.
trying to make me wonder why I gave you a co-host position on a podcast. Jason. Well, I like it because it's got pipes and warp zones. You ever played Mario 1? I know it's a little obscure. I know people aren't real familiar with this one.
Also, I know how to get to glitch worlds.
Oh, yeah. See, you're just all about the secrets.
Yeah, it's
Have you
super
memorized?
weird.
Have you memorized where everything is in that game? Like, do you know where all the invisible blocks are and all the one-ups and?
I like the first 2 levels.
Oh, okay, because I know a lot of it, but I probably even at this point still don't know everything.
Yeah, and there's so in Lost levels, you literally don't know how to get through this level. And there's literally an invisible question block right there, and you're just like, you jump, and you're just like, oh. And then you jump up, and then you're just like, are you serious?
Isn't it wild that the game that started the side-scrolling craze and arguably, and I guess was technically the really the first of those, right? Is it like holds up the way it does?
Yeah.
And is still so unbelievably wonderfully playable.
Yeah.
I still go back to Mario 1 all the time. Like 35 years later, it is just the most, it's still one of the most playable NES games. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Nothing.
Jason, I think you might have actually missed another one of mine. Now that I'm going back and looking at this, did we talk about Donkey Kong Country?
No.
Okay, that is also on my list.
Oh.
Donkey Kong Country and Mario World are both on my list.
And Mario World.
I don't know how to
Donkey
pick
Kong
one
Country.
over the other.
Yeah, I thought you liked Donkey Kong Country more than Mario World.
I always say that it's my favorite platformer, but they are so neck and neck.
There's so many secrets in Mario World, I just can't keep track.
If I had to pick one, if we were saying what is your absolute favorite platformer of all time, and I could only pick one, it would be Donkey Kong Country. If I'm making a top 10 list, they're both making the list.
Right.
Even though I was trying to be careful not to put too many things of the same genre there, but that's why there's 2 side scrollers on my list. And it's both Super Nintendo. But yeah, I mean, I've done gameplay of both of those games, and I've talked about them ad nauseum, so I probably don't need to say a whole bunch here. But Donkey Kong Country is the one game that I have attempted to get good enough to speedrun. And I'm still not there, but I play it pretty quick now. compared to what I used to do. The problem with Donkey Kong Country for me trying to speedrun is there are things in just the enjoyment of the game that I like to do that I can't do if I speedrun, and it's annoying. So like everybody says, and it's true, like play as Diddy Kong as often as you can and not Donkey Kong because he slows it down. But I prefer to play as Donkey Kong. And most people don't. Most people think that's crazy and would prefer to play as Diddy Kong. But the thing is, there are enemies that take 2 hits if you jump on them with Diddy Kong, and I don't have to think about that when I'm Donkey Kong. And also, I just like the rhythm of it a little bit better with Donkey Kong. So I can play through it pretty quickly as Donkey Kong comparatively, but I would have much faster runs with Diddy Kong. And there's some other things that to do like a true speed run I would have to do that I just have not gotten good at yet or don't really enjoy doing. But I was working on that earlier in the year, and I was playing through it like once a day or once every couple of days, and I got to where I could beat that game in just outside of an hour, which is not a speed run by any stretch, certainly.
Yeah.
But compared to what it used to take, it's pretty fast. In one sitting that you could get through it in an hour. And I mean, that was a game that was, and that's not 100%. Obviously, that's just get through the game. But that's not making sure that you go to like every special area and stuff. But or get all of the letters and stuff. But it was expected when that game came out that it would take quite a bit longer than that for people to play it because it has a save feature. And in a game with a save feature, they're not expecting you to play within an hour. So I felt pretty accomplished at that. Mario World was probably the thing that cemented my love for video games and got me really into gaming. Like I had played the original Mario some, and I might have even played Sonic already at that point. I can't remember, because I forget what system my dad had at that point. I was living with my mom. We didn't have a game system, and she bought me the Super Nintendo for my birthday after I had played the NES at my dad's house. And at some point, he traded in his NES for a Genesis, and I think that might have already happened at that point, but I can't remember. But anyway, so I had played a little bit, but wasn't really into games yet. And Mario World, I played all the time and tried to unlock everything. I just couldn't believe how expansive it was, and the sheer amount of content there was to unlock in that game. All the secret levels were just crazy to me. And like not obviously having the internet yet, and not even having magazines that told you where everything was. It was so much fun to just try to figure it out. And it was nice that game had a system where if there was an icon in a map for an area that was red, you knew there was a secret in there somewhere that would let you unlock another level next to it somewhere, but you didn't know right away what it was. So you at least weren't flying completely blind. Like, once you knew the red dots were the ones where you were supposed to look for keys or something else that would open up another level, it became easier to find entrances into Star Road and extra fortresses and things like that. But for just like you with Mario 1, for me with Mario World, it was all about the secrets and the difficulty. That's why I got decent at platformers, because that game is hard, and it's wonderfully progressively harder. It gets progressively harder. It's an incremental difficulty thing, and then you get that map at the end with the 8 crazy worlds, like the Bodacious and the Tubular and all of that, that are just nigh impossible. A couple of them, they just get crazy, and once you finish those, you feel really accomplished. You feel like you can do anything when you finally 100% get that game.
It's like that feels like a lot like Geometry Dash, where like when you beat a really hard level, you feel like really good.
Yeah.
Because like you beat a demon level that's like super hard.
Yeah, that kind of thing is super satisfying.
Yeah.
So, did you have any inkling of putting Donkey Kong Country on your list? Did that make runners up at all? I don't know how much time you've spent with that.
Not that much time.
Well, get on it, sir, because it's wonderful. I think technically, and this has become a more popular opinion lately, and I think it's true. I think technically Donkey Kong Country 2 is actually the better game, but it's not the one I grew up with, and I have not spent as much time with it. But I finally did a full playthrough of that a couple of years ago, and Yeah, I think it is actually the superior game. It's harder, certainly, but I adore Donkey Kong Country, and it's a game that I go back to all the time. So
What about
I had to
Donkey
put it
Kong
over
Country
it. But
3?
I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but they're all of a quality, certainly.
Yeah. So should we do runners up?
Let's jump back and forth and do some runner-ups, or some runners-up, I should say. And a couple of these have come up already, of course, but we'll just bounce back and forth. I wrote 10 of these too.
I wrote 9.
Okay, cool. Well, why don't you throw one out, and then I'll throw one out. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of my runners up is Undertale.
Yep, I thought about writing that down, but I didn't think it would make your 10. And I know you're not through it yet.
No, I'm not even like halfway yet, but
Talk about that for a second.
so Sans is hilarious.
What kind of game is this? Let's
So
just
this is an
break it down for a
RPG.
second.
This is like one of the easiest RPGs ever.
And it was an indie RPG that blew up.
Yeah. Well, it's an RPG that is easy for me. It's easier than other RPGs. There's a bunch of like puzzles you have to do. It's more like a puzzle RPG game.
Is it easier because it's not hard to figure out how to get around? Is that what you're saying?
There for the puzzles. I had to look up a couple of them because I was just like I did not know what the heck I was supposed to do. But I have it on Switch, and I've already gone to a lot of characters, and there's that mother character at the beginning, and there's Flowey the flower, and so what they do, they prank you with the box art, or it on the back of the box it says the friendliest RPG ever, and then you play it and it's kind of sad for some reason. The story is kind of sad. You fall into a hole and you wind up in the hell or whatever, and then you find that it's super happy, and there's this Flowey the flower guy, and he's super happy, and then he's touch these white dots to get love, and then you touch them, and then you lose health, and he's and then he has this demon face, and he's
wow. That sounds like an all ages horror game.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I've heard that game is all about like turning tropes on their heads.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really fun, and there's Sans and there's Papyrus, who always
you said
wants
there's
to
places
get
where it just
humans.
legitimately creeps you out.
Yeah, especially that Flowey guy. When I got that, I was just when I got to that part, I was just I was so scared that this was not gonna be what I expected, and it was not what I expected. But it's a really good game.
And of course, that's considered now one of the great soundtracks.
Yeah, you should listen to that whole soundtrack. It's really good.
And I've listened to a lot of it, but I've never actually played the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, in video game music circles, chiptune circles, that game is beloved. Earthbound.
Earthbound. For you?
Mm-hmm. It's the only RPG I've ever spent a lot of time with, and I never
You spent
finished
a lot
it
of time
in high school.
Earthbound?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Earthbound is hard.
Or are you just gonna
for
keep
me.
asking questions I've answered already? Is that your whole point? I played it in high school. You played it in high school?
Yeah.
Or you liked that game? You liked that game? I need to sit down and finally play that all the way through. But that's also a thing that turns a lot of things on its head and does the last thing you expect. And I needed a present day RPG that was kind of comedic in nature before I cared about RPGs, because I'm not a fantasy guy, and most of them are sword and sorcery things. And so it was the right aesthetic for me. It was, real absurdist, and it was about, an alien invasion and stuff. And so those are two things that hit me in the right place at the right time back in high school. But I had a friend that let me borrow that. Right when that cartridge was getting really expensive, I was like, this game's already worth like $80, dude. Are you sure you don't mind me borrowing it? He was like, no, that's cool. So I borrowed it for a really long time. Okay, throw another one out. Let's try and knock these out pretty quick.
Okay. WarioWare DIY.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you spent a lot of time with that. Your mom also loves that game.
Yeah. So you make
your own tiny mini
games.
Yeah.
And my favorite one that I've made is where you where you shoot. It's like supposed to be like a 3D shooter game. Kind of, and it looks like it's 3D, and that's what I love about that. It looks like it's 3D, and I made like a whole gun and everything, and it shoots like this like monster guy, and you get 3 hits and he's out, and it's super cool.
We'll blow through these a little bit quicker. The Super Nintendo Mario Kart.
Yep.
That's my favorite thing to play on Mario Kart.
Wait, did you have
on
Mario
excuse
Karts?
me, on Super Nintendo. I didn't, because I put Crazy Taxi there, and I decided not to use any other driving games. Like, I really only put 2. Well, you know what? That's not true. I had Sonic 2 here too. Okay, I put a lot of platformers on my list because that's the thing I like the most. So I couldn't help myself. But yeah, I felt weird not having Super Nintendo Mario Kart there. But like, I don't even want to say that is, to me, definitively the best Mario Kart. It's just the one I go back to the most.
Yeah, and I mean, I go back to it a lot because you always want to play it.
Yeah.
I don't, like, that's probably, like, one of my least favorite Mario Karts because it's so hard and I can't play it.
That's what I like about it.
It's like I can't play it.
I mean, I spent years getting good at it. Now nobody wants to play it with me because they think Mode 7's hard to look at because it's too difficult.
No, it's not hard to look at. I just can't play it.
Okay, but at least you don't have that. At least you're not like, this is outdated and outmoded. And Mode 7 is outmoded. I mean, in a lot of things it is, but, not that. Like, look at that in the Power Rangers Zeo Kart Racer. It's like night and day. Like,
yeah. In Mario Kart 64, they made it 3D, but it is a 3D racing game, but
that is true.
But the actual
it's a 3D racing game.
Actually, the actual characters are 2D.
Oh yeah,
or 2D.
Yeah, and they don't look like they quite fit in the areas they're in.
Oh really?
In 64. Just because of the way they're textured. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, also, what's up with boing and boom and all that and E?
when you're sliding.
Yeah. I don't know what, like, why do they do all that?
When you're drifting, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
When you're drifting, they go E. Like,
what else you got?
So this is a weird one. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Fighting Edition.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
And it feels like an arcade fighter.
I can never beat you except when I do the secret character Ivan Ooze, and I beat you.
And that's cheating.
Yeah, no, it's not, but...
Yes, it is, because he floats in the air and he just shoots things every which way. You're not even playing the same game as me. But that was the whole point of that boss, was that he was supposed to be nigh unkillable. And I mean, you can't beat him, but yeah, but it's so much fun, man. Like, not only is Lord Zed in it, but he's like really playable.
Yeah, and he's super
He's
big.
got that really cool. Yeah, he's got that really cool spin move with the staff, and I don't know. It felt like a gift to the fans at the time. Where it was like really a Megazord fighter, and that goes through season 3. Like somebody actually paid attention to that show and pulled in a lot of the fan favorite stuff. It's got monsters that you can play as, which was fun. I wish the roster was bigger, but I always wished that back then. For the time, it's a really good, pretty large roster. Especially, considering how, visually hefty that game is. But, like, you never thought you'd get to play as the Shogun Zord. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. I mean, it's really slow. It's not my favorite thing to play as, but it's neat that it's in there. And it's neat that each Megazord fights so differently. Like, you've got your tiny, scrappy Megazord, like, with the Ninja Megazord, and then you've got the Thunder Megazord and the Thunder Tiger Zord, and they fight differently. Like, you add one Zord in, and they're different. And then you got the Shogun, and that's kind of your mid-range fighter, and you got the Shogun Zord, which only takes like 3 or 4 hits to kill anything, but he's lumbering, and it takes him forever to swing the thing. But yeah, it's so good.
It's
and it
like
really holds up.
It's like Juggernaut in Marvel Superheroes.
He means Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a lot like that. To your point, absolutely. I mentioned Marvel vs. Capcom 2 earlier because you brought that up. I've always had a love-hate relationship with Hitman. I love Hitman. I can't play Hitman. I'm terrible at it. But I've always thought of myself as a Hitman fan. But I've never played all that much Hitman because I can't do it. I'm terrible at stealth games.
So basically,
and I'm also terrible at reading maps and getting around. So when I've tried to play Hitman, I have needed my wife to look at a map and tell me where to go. And so between the two of us, we can get places in Hitman. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing the PS2 Hitman games with my wife because she doesn't like to figure out button configurations. So she always wants me to use the controller, and she tells me what to do. And if she's telling me what to do and I'm pressing the buttons, we usually can get to some places. So I haven't done that with any of the more recent Hitman games, but I want to. We just haven't had time. But yeah, I had to put that as a runner-up just because I have a lot of real fond memories of sort of playing that with my wife. I need my wife backseat video game playing.
Yeah, it's so weird because wait, does that mean that Mom has to help you with Hazy Maze Cave too?
Oh, I don't even know.
Because you can't read maps?
It's not that I can't read any maps. I'm just not the best at... Look, I don't have to explain myself to you. Jason, what's your next runner-up?
We just talked about this.
Yeah.
Marvel Superheroes.
Marvel Superheroes. Oh, really? Over
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah.
Is that just because we have the machine and you've played it a lot?
Yeah, and it's pretty fun.
We have put a lot of time into that, and it holds up great, and it's wonderfully playable, and I'm glad we bought that machine.
My favorite character is Juggernaut. He's the best.
And you're really good with him.
Yeah. And every single time I play as him, I do the Juggernaut voice. I'm like, I'm the Juggernaut! I'm unstoppable!
I like playing as Spider-Man and Wolverine in that game, of course, but I discovered that my favorite character is one of the ones that I avoided for the longest time just because I didn't care to play as him, which was Captain America. And the first time I decided to play as Captain America, I beat Jason like 17 times in a row. Like, he could not get past him.
Yeah. And I'm the one who told you to play as him because I thought he was an okay character.
And he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all about Captain America.
Even though he was not in the Fantastic Four. He's fantastic.
Yeah, we really recommend, if you're into fighting games and you think about getting one of the arcade one-up machines, that's a great machine.
Yeah.
And they're putting out, maybe it's already come out, they're putting out a Marvel vs. Capcom machine.
Yeah.
That's going to have a couple of the other...
I think that's already come out, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not going to get that one just because we already have the Marvel Superheroes one, but...
I really want that one.
You want it also?
Yeah, because it has X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and I've always wanted to play that game. And also Marvel vs. Capcom 1, I've never played.
Since we've got 5 one-up arcade machines, and 3 of the 5 of them are fighters.
I know, but... yeah.
We're going to have nothing but a fighting arcade down here, man.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got? Or I guess you brought that up, right?
Yeah, I brought Marvel Superheroes.
I wrote down God of War because I like the hack and slash genre, and on PS2 I played the first and second God of War all the way through, each of them at least once, and I liked them a lot.
You played that.
Oh yeah, no, I loved them, and I even liked Dante's Inferno, which is kind of a God of War clone that was surprisingly decent on 360. I haven't played the new one, the newer one now. I guess it's been out a few years, or at least 2 or 3 years, on PS4. But I need to get that at some point. But it looked great. I haven't played it. But that's on my list. Uniracers was on my list. We talked about that. I'll also say real quick, I could not help but put Mario Maker on my list because it's just
On your runners-up list.
yeah, because it's just one of the best like creator games.
Mario Maker 2.
Mario Maker 2. Yep. Yeah, just whatever your current Mario Maker is, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Mario. So, I used to know a lot about the backstory of the original Mario Maker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a while. Apparently, it evolved from, like, making a new Mario Paint.
Yeah, well, actually, what it was is so that's sort of accurate. So what happened was there was talk about doing some kind of new Mario Paint-esque thing, and they couldn't decide what that would be because there's a lot of that sort of software now just on computers. Like, what would that even look like? Why would somebody want to buy that? But they wanted to do something with that aesthetic. And then this is what I'm remembering. Hopefully, I'm right about this. But I know this part of it is definitely true. They were working on an in-house software so that it would be easier to build Mario games without just coding them. So basically, they were going to use something akin to Mario Maker to develop new side-scrolling Mario games. And they ultimately decided to just, like the software was working out so well, they ultimately decided to just take the software and give it to the players. So it wasn't even being developed as a game in the first place. It was development software.
Wait, so are they like, do they like use that to make like New Super Mario Brothers? Like?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was for in the first place.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, they probably give themselves more tools than they give Oz. But yeah, they've got to be using that software because that's what it was being developed for in the first place. Yeah. I would assume. What else is on your list?
Mrs. Pac-Man?
Yeah?
So Mrs. Pac-Man, I like it better than Pac-Man because, it's faster, and...
It's actually Miss Pac-Man, because they don't get married. They fall in love, but they don't get married. It's just Miss Pac-Man.
So yeah, Miss Pac-Man...
Why don't they call it Pac-Woman?
I don't know.
Always wondered about that.
Yeah. Pac-Bat. But yeah, I'm better at Mrs. Pac-Man.
I'm better than Mrs. Pac-Man. You should play my game.
I'm better at Miss Pac-Man than Pac-Man. Even though I'm really, really good at Pac-Man.
Are you?
Yeah. Not really, but I'm pretty good at it.
Miss Pac-Man's more fun because the levels change.
Yeah.
It's not just the one map.
And it's also...
One maze.
Yeah, and it's faster, and you can go left, and then it takes you to another, like, part of the level. It's super cool. There's also Pac-Land. I've never played. It's like a platformer Pac-Man game.
That looks like it was drawn by a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Like, intentionally? It's very strange.
Yeah. And that's how Pac-Man got his start as, looking like Pac-Man. Today.
I'll throw out my last ones real quick as we're wrapping up here. NBA Jam. Yeah. I had to get a sports game in there.
I did not put a sports game anywhere.
That is...
Even though I really like NBA Jam.
Yeah, it's just a really fun casual arcade game. And then the other one I put here was Detroit Become Human, which I think is my favorite game in the last of recent things I've actually played. Not that I played much in the last 5 years, last like half a decade. I want more things like that. I tried to start Heavy Rain at one point. That's the same developer, and I wasn't as impressed with it. There was like just trying to start that game, it seemed like there were too many like random arbitrary things that it was trying to get you to do, and I wanted to just kind of hurry up and get into the story of it. But Detroit Become Human is very kind of choose your own adventure. It's entirely story driven, and it's like a Telltale game if you have more control over your character with a little bit more of an action bent, and it's much more graphically intensive. But it's a really smart science fiction story, dystopian science fiction story, and it's really sad and wonderfully depressing. And I found myself really feeling for my characters, and I did a playthrough on the channel. I've only played through it once, and I recorded all of it and streamed it live, and I had a really fun, cool audience for that was with me all the way through. And I made the mistake of playing the end of it, and like starting that last couple hours, or just that last session. I think I still had 2 of my 3 characters alive, or maybe I had all 3 of them alive, and I made the mistake of playing it after a really long day where I was like super tired, and I made some really dumb mistakes, and I ended up getting the worst possible ending, like the most oppressive, daunting, depressing ending possible.
Really?
Yeah, and folks that watch that stream will tell you I was devastated by the end of that stream, and I've wanted to play it again ever since to try to get a better. And I was having such a good game. Like everybody was saying, like oh Cap, you're doing so well. You're having a great game, and then I got to the end, and I just botched it all up completely. Oh, I'm still reeling about it, and it's been like 2 or 3 years.
So you did like 2 streams on it?
What do you mean?
You did like 1 stream of like the first half of the game?
No. It took 7 or 8 or 9 streams. I mean, it's not a super short game.
Mm.
But I would play for 2-3 hours each time I played. But anyway, I got to go back to that at some point. What are the last things on your list, Jason?
Okay, I've got like 4 more.
Oh, okay. Knock them out.
So Minecraft. Dad doesn't know anything about this game, so let me just...
Yeah, I guessed that at you and thought that you might have put that on your list. Go ahead.
So basically, it's basically just Naked and Afraid the game, except you have nothing. Except a map. And you're by yourself, except when you're playing as with another player. So basically, you get to, you can break, like, trees and stuff with your hands, and then you, with the trees, you make, a crafting table, and then with the crafting table, you can make swords and axes and bows and, arrows and a bunch of stuff, and you can, that's called crafting. You craft things, and, you get iron and diamonds and stuff like that to power up, to make more cooler, like, armor, and you can make a shield, and super cool. And you get to fight this, like, big ender dragon guy at the end, and he's, like, super hard. You have to have, like, a really OP bow to, like, shoot, like, really high up, and then you gotta shoot him a bunch of times, and pretty cool. So that's basically Minecraft.
And that was the game. I mean, there's still a big following for that, but that was the game that kids your age were all playing a few years ago, like the age you are now, before Fortnite got so huge.
Yeah. And it's been 11 years now.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
What do you think of the blocky aesthetic of that? Like, do you ever get sick of looking at that, or?
No. I mean, yeah, it's just, like, it looks pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't really want, like, a regular game like so here's the thing about the blocky aesthetic. You kind of need that, because when you break things, like, you have to have, like, a specific thing that you're breaking. So, like, you break, like, a block at a time.
Yeah.
You don't, like, break a whole tree.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole point is pixel art, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's tugging this nostalgia strings a little bit, where it's like, here's, old school, like, NES type pixel art, but it's in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
And I think there's almost like an early PC look to it.
Yeah.
Too. What else is on your list?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
See, I was so close.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a runners-up.
Whatever your favorite Mario Kart is, it's kind of definitively the best Mario Kart, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is.
Yeah. So again, I like to play as Dry Bones. I play with the Flame Rider. I play with Blue Standard tires, and I play with the.
Very specific.
And I play with the Bowser Kite. And my favorite cup is the Egg Cup because of Excite Arena, and also I'm just good at that cup. Dragon Driftway is awesome. Mute City is awesome.
Yeah, he's all about the Excite Bike.
There's a bunch of
which is why I thought Excite Bike would be on your list.
It wasn't. And add insult to injury, you did put an NES game on your list, and it wasn't Excite Bike.
But anyway, so there's a bunch of like Nintendo characters that aren't Mario, and I expect that Mario Kart 9 is going to be called just Nintendo Kart, and put Kirby in, and Pikachu in, and Captain Falcon in, and Charizard, and all those people, and put Ness in.
Are you not wanting
Sonic
that? Like the way you're talking about it, you sound almost irritated about it. This sounds ranty.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if it,
Did you say Ness?
Yeah,
Put Ness in there.
Yeah.
Of course.
But like if, like I would like it if they did Mario Kart 9 and put in a whole bunch of Nintendo characters. That's what I expect them to do.
You sounded annoyed about it.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed about it because Mario Kart, like, I would like it if they put more characters and more, like, Nintendo characters outside of Mario Kart, outside of Mario, but Mario Kart should, like, there's way too many characters, I think. Like, they could not think of, like, any more characters, so they put in Pink Gold Peach and Baby Rosalina and like.
But see, that's the thing is, you could think of more characters. They just went to redundant things before they used them. It was really strange.
Yeah, and they have the closest thing you get to Dr. Mario and Mario Kart is Mario Kart Live and Mario Kart Tour. Just put it finally put it in Mario Kart.
Well, I don't think there's any reason not to do skins, but also, couldn't you do a Mario Kart like Smash where you had access to like 80 characters or something, and you just had a random grouping of them when you played in Grand Prix? Like, you don't have to use every single character that you have in Grand Prix. You can just have a random selection of 12.
Yeah. And like, yeah. I have made a Mario Kart 9 that has like a bunch of
You mean you've just made like a
I made
like a list of what
like
you
a
want
list of what
to look
I
like?
would
You did a plan?
that I
Jason has
think,
not designed Mario Kart 9.
No, yeah, of
He's
what,
not coded
of
it.
what,
You can't go look at it right now on a YouTube channel.
Of what I think Nintendo will do and what I want, and also just
Yeah.
I want it to all be retro courses. Just retro courses that they haven't made yet, and also I want a whole DLC pack of Sonic. Just two
Sonic
more,
stages would be pretty cool.
2 cups, and like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, 2 cups, the Sonic Cup and the Emerald Cup, and it would be stages from Sonic.
If we got a flying battery course, I would lose my mind.
Oh yeah, I put that in there.
Oh.
It's the last course on the Sonic Cup.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, and Chemical Plant, and Marble Zone,
And Death Egg.
and Death Egg.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, stop it! It sounds so good. And I mean, yeah, we've got the Sonic and Sega All-Stars, but they've never done. And I guess there was that recent Sonic Racer on the Switch, which is good, but it's not going back to the old zones and the old music and turning them into courses like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little bit of that. I haven't played that game in a while, but it's not exactly what you're describing, and that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And I can pop it up.
But I do like that game. We bought it when it came out, and we haven't played a ton with it. We should get back that out. But I've been in a racing mood lately. We should get that back out and play with it. We gotta finish up, man. What else you got?
Okay, Smash Melee.
You
I
had to put another Smash game in?
game. So, I was between
Melee.
I was between Melee and Ultimate on my list because Melee is really good. It's like my second favorite Smash game, and I don't know. I don't even know why. It's just like the gameplay is really good, and there's a whole bunch of stages, and
Yep.
Mewtwo is amazing, and Mr. Gaming Watch is amazing, and Dr. Mario is awesome.
That was kind of, for a lot of people, the definitive game on that system.
Yeah.
It was like the reason a lot of people owned a GameCube was for Melee.
Yeah.
Right? Melee?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Melee.
Well, is that everything?
Nope. I have one more.
One more, go ahead.
And you need to finally play this game with me.
Oh, what have I not played?
Super Metroid.
Oh, yes. Well, I did start Super Metroid. Okay, how far have you gotten into it, finally?
The second level.
Oh, is that it?
Well, yeah, this game is hard. And, well, no, this game is long.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of hard. I'm gonna have, it's been like a couple months, so I'm gonna have to, re-memorize the first level.
A lot of easy ways to play that now, by the way. It's on the Super Nintendo Mini, the Classic, and if you have a Switch and you pay for Nintendo's Online, you can also play it online and stream it.
Mm-hmm. And play it with online people? Is that it? Can
Well,
you do that?
no, because it's only one player.
Well, right. But can you do that, like, with two-player games?
Yeah.
Like, online?
Oh yeah, I've been doing it with Austin a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and it's such a trip too to get to go back to those old games and play them with people online. Austin and I have been playing through Mario World together. We've been playing through Donkey Kong Country together. He just beat Donkey Kong Country for the first time recently, and we played some Mario Kart and Super Nintendo together. And yeah, no, it's been really cool.
Yeah.
You know, people complain about Nintendo's Online and that it's too limited, and I get a lot of the complaints. But for $4 a month to be able to go back to my favorite kinds of games and actually play them with people that aren't here in my house, that's a trip for me.
And also, there's a bunch of games on online. Like, if you
Well,
do
these days a
online-
lot more. I mean, people were complaining about it a lot harder at the beginning because they're only putting out one every so often, and so for a while there were very few games you could play, and it was all just 8 and 16-bit stuff. But
Mario 35 is amazing.
Mario 35 is amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that wraps up the video.
All right, cool.
I don't know if there's like anything else. Like,
Well, we talked about a lot of games.
yeah.
We ran a gamut there. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you had a good time. Let us know in the comments if any of the games we listed are some of your favorites. And I'm sure there are going to be folks that are much more into more recent stuff that kind of wish that we weren't just talking retro. But I'm, again, very much an arcade retro guy. And, I'm the one racing Jayson, so he's got some of those sensibilities as well. But as you can tell, our tastes are not exactly the same. And anyway, this was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot for making a list and chatting with me about it. And once again, you guys leave your comments. We're looking forward to reading them. And we will see you again with a review next week. I'm Captain Logan.
And I was Jason.
Bye, everybody. Oh, and we're Father.
And so.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, bye, everybody.
Is there anything else?
Did I do that right?
Yes.
Did I finally get that? Yeah.
Finally.
I just want to make sure that I ended the video correctly.
Correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's Sin City?